So as of the time I'm filming this, we're just a few days away from the official release of the Tonex Software 1.8 update, which is going to add these great effects that have been spoken about so often. So today I'm going to deep dive into the modulation effects. Last week I did a Tonex FX in-depth video showcasing the delays we're going to get, and today I want to take a look at the modulation effects, basically show you what all the algorithms are all about, and maybe one or two things that we have to watch out for if we hope to get the right sounds out of them. So without further ado, let's dive right over to Tonex and take a look and a listen to these great new modulation effects that we're about to get. Okay, so here we are over in Tonex. I'm going to be utilizing one of my ToneNet Tone Partner collections, the Chieftain 2 Ultimate Collection, which is based off of my incredible matchless Chieftain amp, captured through two different speaker cabs, both a Celestion G12 M65 Creamback and a Celestion Greenback. So this is just the push one tone. I'm on my Gibson Les Paul in the middle position. Bridge position. And all I have on that right now is just a splash of this new Spring 4 algorithm that we're going to be getting in the upcoming release. But today, we want to talk about how the modulation effects are going to work. Now, one thing I want to start off with, a very important point, and some people have asked me this, I've touched on it in other videos. Let's just engage this with the chorus. Now, these are stereo effects, okay? And you can really hear how lush a chorus that is. We have the ability to put these in pre or post. So we have this switch here, and if I go to pre, I'm now before the tone model. What we have to realize here is when we do this, it's going to collapse that chorus to mono. So any of the stereo effects that we put before the amp, even if we were to use something like, let's say, the ping pong delay, where we get this bounce back and forth, if I put that before the tone model, we lose that stereo ping pong effect. And that would be expected. The amp tone model is simply going to be in mono. So whatever we put before it is going to collapse down to mono. So here we have chorus that is going to have this nice lush stereo effect that can quickly be collapsed to mono if we put it in pre. So just keep that in mind. Now, chorus, what are we going to have? Rate, depth, and level. Go to some extremes here to really let you hear what this is capable of. So we could get some pretty goofy, wacky effects out of that. I always like to have my rate fairly low. A little slower moving. We can keep that depth up. So you can see you can use it for some really kind of cool special effects as well. So really quite an effective chorus, and if we play around with the rate, depth, and level, we can get a lot of really cool sounds of them. But keep in mind, all of these effects are going to have the sync feature as well, and when we click that on, we're now going to adjust our rate in time to the tempo that's set at the bottom, right? So if I'm at 120 beats per minute and I want to set this to be in time with a quarter note, then that's going to do that for us. Or change that to different note values. All right, moving on to the tremolo, we have rate, shape, and spread and level. So what we're going to have here is a shape control that is essentially going to take us almost more from a sine wave up to more of a square wave and kind of blending up to that. You get a much harder tremolo sound when we have the shape all the way up versus a softer, more subtle tremolo effect when we're all the way down. So we could bring this up to kind of a square wave, bring that rate up. Again, we have a sync control here that we could put this in time with the tempo. Now you kind of hear things moving around the stereo spectrum, and that's what the spread control is going to control. You can hear there, mono, and now things are moving around a little bit more in the stereo field. Again, even with the spread control to sort of maximize the stereo effect, if we go into pre, we're going to lose that, and the spread control is not going to have any effect, which is to be expected and the behavior we would expect. So if we come back out of that, go back to post, bring this back to kind of a softer. So a very nice, useful tremolo effect. Moving on to the phaser, we have rate, depth, and level. Kind of a vocal quality to it. Now again, we can move that to pre. Collapses to mono. So a lot of nice possibilities there. Again, as I mentioned, the sync control, if we want to time that in with an actual tempo. One nice thing to keep in mind is when we do switch between these, the last setting we have for each algorithm will remain active. So if I switch out to the flanger to try to play with that, whatever I left the phaser on last time actually recalls those settings, which is kind of nice as well. Moving on to the flanger, rate, depth, feedback, and level. Again, pre and post and sync. So we can get up into the wacky, zany side of things if we so desire. Again, if we put that in pre, things just collapse down to mono. Kind of nice to hear it on something with a little more grit to it. Moving on finally to the rotary, we have speed, radius, spread, and level here as well. Now the radius is going to almost, we can think of it more as like a depth control, right? Spread again is going to give us that stereo effect. Again, if we have this in pre, spread control is really going to have no effect because things will be collapsed to mono anyways. And again, we could use the sync control to have that sync to a tempo. All right, there you have it. What did you guys think? I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that that gives you a little bit of an overview of what exactly you're going to get once this update drops in just a few days from the time of this filming. If you enjoyed the tones you heard today, I'm going to have a link below. That is one of my collections. It's available on ToneNet as a tone partner with IK Multimedia, and I have a lot of collections up there that you can go try out and take a look and a listen to. And if you're so inclined, you want to grab a copy, feel free at the link below. So thank you guys again so much for sharing your time with me. Please like the video and share it with anybody you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content. I'll be back really soon with some more. I'm going to leave you a demo video for some of my Tonex tones. And again, any of the tones you heard in this video, there will be links below if you're so inclined and want to grab a copy. Thanks again so much for sharing your time with me. Enjoy the music on the way out. Ciao for now.